Hello everybody, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube Creative Studio. Today I would like to show you how to work with loops yarns. For this video tutorial I chose very soft and quite big loops yarn ELZA. One loop has about 5 centimeters, so 2 inches, so it's quite big. And I will show you how to work with this yarn. I chose two colors, light and dark blue, and created the blanket. And I will explain how to create this herringbone stitch. You will not need any needles, any crochet hook, just the tapestry needle and scissors and your hands. So this pattern is super perfect for very beginners, even for beginners with no experiences with crocheting or hooking. So let's get started, my crochet friends. So this is the yarn, the link where to buy this yarn, and also the link to my blog where is the written pattern you will find in the description box below this video tutorial. In case of any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can put the comment in the box below, or you can reach me on my Facebook page, Pinterest or Instagram. I'm always there and happy to help. So let's get started. I usually skip the first loop and leave it for the fixing the beginning and also the end. So grab the next two loops and pull the second through the first one. Then grab the third and pull it through the second loop. Then grab the fourth one, pull it through the third, and you can continue and make a chain, a basic chain at the beginning, as long as you need for your project. I will just show you the sample with 8 loops, 8 stitches in the row, and then I will measure the blanket for baby or playing mat for babies, and you can make any project, any soft project you like. Okay, so this is my foundation chain. I have 8 chains, and now I will work from left to right and pull the loops through the chains. So grab the next loop on your working yarn and pull it through the chain. Pull it from back to front. Always the right side is facing you. So super important rule is don't turn your work. Okay, so we will not turn the work, just pull the loops through the chains, one loop through one chain. So at the end of this row you should have 8 loops. Perfect. I'm at the end on the row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you will have 8 stitches in each row. Now grab the next loop on your working yarn and we will cross first 2 loops on the first row. Okay, so I will skip the first loop. The first loop is now under the second loop, and pull the next loop on the working yarn through the second loop. Then grab the next loop on working yarn and pull it through the first loop. So now the second loop is over the first loop, and this is what we will do. Skip next loop, which is the third loop, and the fourth is going over the third. Now pull the loop through the fourth loop and then the next loop through the third loop. Okay, so always the second loop is going over the skipped loop. So now I'm working with the loop 5th and 6th, and the 6th loop is going over the 5th loop. I will pull the loop on the working yarn through the 6th loop and then a loop on the working yarn through the skipped 5th loop, and last 2 loops the last is going over the 7th loop. Grab the loop on the working yarn, pull it through the last loop, and this is the 7th loop in the row. So I will pull the loop on the working yarn through this 7th loop. I have 4 crosses, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so we have 8 loops and 4 crosses in the 2nd row. Let's start row number 3. We will work from left to right. We will also make crosses, but in the opposite direction. And in this 3rd row I will have only 3 crosses. Pull the first loop on your working yarn through the last loop or the first loop in the row. Then let's make a cross. Skip one loop, grab the next one and pull the loop through. Now grab the skipped loop and pull the loop on the working yarn through this loop. We created the first cross, but in the opposite direction. Now it's going from right to left. Skip next loop, grab the next one. The next one is going over the skipped loop, and then pull the loop on the working yarn through this next loop and then through the skipped loop. Perfect. We again created the cross. This is the 2nd in the row, and there are 3 loops left. Skip next one, grab the next. Okay, it's going over the skipped. Pull the loop on the working yarn through it, and then through the next one through the skipped loop. Perfect. And there is only 1 loop at the end, the last one. So I will easily pull the next loop on the working yarn through this last loop. Okay, so we have 1 loop at the beginning, 1 loop at the end, and then 3 crosses. Now let's look careful on the pattern. In the 2nd row, the crosses were going from left to right, and now the crosses are going from right to left. So in the 4th row, the crosses will go again from the left to right. Okay, so I will make a cross at the beginning, skip the first, pull the loop through the 2nd, and then next loop through the skipped loop. Then let's make a cross again, the skip one, and the next one is going over the skipped, and it's going from left to right. Okay, so now I'm working from right side to left side. We don't turn the work, and in this 4th row I will have again 4 crosses. So in every 2nd row you will have, in my case I have 8 loops, so I will have 4 crosses, and in row number 3, 5, 7 and so on, I will have only 3 crosses and 1 loop straight at the beginning and 1 loop straight at the end. And this is it, my crochet friends. You will easily repeat row number 2 and row number 3, and you will create a beautiful herringbone stitch from loops yarn. Okay, so now I will work from left to right. It's the 5th row, so I will start straight, I'll pull straight the loop through the first loop, then I will make a cross. So skip one, pull the loop through the next one is going over the skipped loop, and then pull the yarn on the working loop, on the working yarn through the skipped loop. So you will easily make 3 crosses, and then at the end of the row there will be one looped at the end, so you will pull the loop straight through this yarn. Always pull the loop from back to front, and make sure any loop is not twisted. Okay, so don't twist the loops, just cross them. Okay, so in this row the crosses are going from right to left. Perfect, I'm at the end. So easily pull the yarn, pull the loop through this last loop straight up. Perfect. So I have 1, 2 and 3 crosses. Amazing. And this is what you will do. You can continue and make your project as long, as wide as you wish. Absolutely up to you. And in a while I will show you how to change the colors, so you can make a nice 2 colors herringbone stitch blanket. So what do you think, my crochet friends? I love this pattern. You can use it not only for blankets or pillows, you can make a nice sweaters, ponchos, cozy shawl or scarf. Now let me show you how to change the colors. I created the basic chain and the first row. I will start where I finished with the working yarn. So now I will work from right to left, and I will make 4 crosses. So cross first 2 loops. The second is going over the first, and easily use the loops on your working yarn with the light blue loops, and continue. Just use the loop one by one and make crosses with the dark blue loops. Okay, always skip 1, grab the next one, and this next one is going over the skipped loop. Perfect. So this is the second row, and I will have at the end 4 crosses. Okay, so the eighth loop is going over the 7th, and I'm at the end. So now leave this light blue working yarn on the left side. Just leave it here, and I will continue with dark blue working yarn. Okay, so I will continue again from right to left. Okay, so grab the next dark blue loop and pull it straight through the light blue first loop in the row. Then let's make 3 crosses. Skip 1, grab the next one, and the skipped one is going over the loop we already joined. So skip 1, grab the next one, and this skipped is going over the next one. Perfect. So you see now the crosses are going from right to left. Okay, last 3 loops. So skip 1, the skip is going over the next one, and then the last one. So easily pull the next loop on your working yarn through this last loop from back to front. Here we are. So we have 3 crosses, and at the end and at the beginning 1 loop. And now I will work with light blue loops from left to right, and then the next row again with the dark blue loops again from left to right. So isn't it easy? What you have remember is that you will change the colors, you will leave the yarn at the end, and then you will continue with the next color. So now I will leave the dark blue loop working yarn on the left, and I will continue with the light blue working yarn working from left to right. And again I will make 4 crosses. So skip 1, and the skip is going over the next. Okay, so pull the yarn through the next one, and then there is the skip loop, and this going over this already joined yarn. Okay, a loop. So now my crosses are going from left to right. Okay, I hope it makes sense. So again you will repeat row number 2 and row number 3. I think maybe this is much more easier because you can clearly see the colors, and you can clearly see the directions where the crosses are going. So maybe working with 2 colors herringbone stitch is easier than with 1 color. So this is it, my crochet friends. You see, now I created 4 crosses, and I will work with this dark blue loops. Pull the first loop through the first loop straight from the back to front. Then let's make 3 crosses. Skip 1, and now the skipped is going under the next one. Okay, the skipped is going over under the next one. Perfect. And you see now the direction is going from right to left. So the light blue directions is going from right to left, and dark blue is going from left to right. Easy peasy. So this is it. And now let's look at my blanket. This is like a playing blanket or playing mat for babies. I have 30 loops in the row, so 15 crosses in every second row, and I use the same directions, so the same rules. I repeat same steps. I repeat row number 2 and row number 3, only this row is a bit longer. I have 15 loops, and also I will make more rows. I will try how long blanket could be created from 2 skeins. So we will see. And this is the wrong side. You see there are no crosses. You can check if there is no loop skipped, no skipped loop. You can also check the pattern and the right side. So right side is always facing you, and you will change the direction of your crosses till you are satisfied with the length of your blanket. Here we are. I love it. I love the colors. I love these stitches. And I will show you how to finish the blanket. Okay. So, isn't it soft and cozy? So now I finished with the dark blue color, and I have only the light blue loops. Okay, so I started with dark blue, and I will finish with the light blue loops. Okay, so wow. Okay, so let me show you where we are. So this is the last row which I created with light blue loops. Now I will make the last row. I will make crosses, but with the light blue loops. Okay, so just make sure that the light blue crosses are going in the same direction as in your previous rows. Okay, so now you are working with the light blue loops, but the directions are the same. Okay, and I will meet you at the end of the row, and I will finish the blanket. Now I will pull each loop straight from back to front through each loop, so no crosses in the last row. Okay, just pull each loop through each loop from the previous row, straight from back to front, no crosses, no twisted loops, and I finish on the left side, and I will join the loops, and I will start on the opposite side where is my end, and pull the loops the same way as we started with our foundation chain. So grab the next loop and pull it through the already joined loops. Okay, so the second through the first, the third through the second, the fourth through the third, and so on till you reach the end of your working yarn. Okay, we have to fix the last loop. Okay, so this is my last loop, and I will show you how to do it. We have to cut the next loop on the working yarn. Actually, so these are the lefts from my balls, so I used up all 2 balls to the end. I'm so happy that I really used up almost all loops. So I will cut 1 or 2. You can cut 1 or 2 loops. Just be careful. Cut the next loop on the working yarn. No, not the last loop in the row. Okay, and now pull the end through this last loop. Here we are. So we fixed the last loop. And now you can very easily hide the ends. I will use this magic trick to pull this fairy yarn into the sewing needle. So you can use any thinner yarn as a trick how to pull this fairy yarn through the sewing needle. Then hide the end. Make sure you are working only on the wrong side and only on the row with light blue loops, and then hide the dark blue. Magic. Perfect. And again, make sure you are working on the wrong side and pull the end through dark blue loops. And this is it. Pretty easy. Cut the end, and there is one end or two ends at the beginning of our blanket, so you have to hide these ends as well. So here we are, my crochet friends. Our blanket is finished. I'm so happy. I love it. I will measure the sides. So the width is 62 centimeters, 24.2 inches, and the length, I have 32 rows, one row at the beginning as a foundation chain and the last row at the end, so there are 30 plus 1 rows, and the length is 66 centimeters, 25.8 inches, and I used 2 balls ELZA for this blanket. And this is the end of my video tutorial, my crochet friends. Thank you very much for watching. In case of any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can put the comment in the box below this video tutorial. If you like this video tutorial, please give me your thumb up and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Wish you happy crocheting, take care, and bye for now. Bye bye.